David. Here we go, lesson number one, and we are going to be starting with some very basic stuff because we need to. Got to get that foundation in, but lots of good things will be happening here because not only are you going to be learning what these symbols mean, but you're going to get good metronome practice as well, and we're going to start getting that timing, getting that rhythm solid. Because one thing I like to say is if your rhythm sucks, everything suffers. And that absolutely includes playing lead, playing very fast solos, or just interesting solos, any of that stuff. It's got to be solid, 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 solid. So, you mentioned that, you're a big fan of Randy Rhoads. I recently watched a video where someone who was, recorded him, I think it was the producer, they actually said they would triple take Randy's guitar solos, which that makes sense why sometimes it seems like they were at least double, because sometimes the notes are like little interesting sounding. But basically the dude his rhythm was solid enough to where he could play the same solo 3 times and they just layer it on top of each other. So I just wanted to point that out. I feel that's a very good example as to why we want solid rhythm, so we can replicate stuff over and over again and make it sound professional. So we're starting with, again, very basic stuff here. So the chords are all tabbed out. I trust you know how to read tab. If you don't, please let me know. But so we got the tab and then the notation up above it. Now, the most important thing with the notation is not really what the notes are, but the duration of the note. That's what we're concerned with. How long the note lasts. That's one thing I really like about tab plus rhythm notation. Tab tells us exactly where to place our hands. The rhythm notation tells us how long those notes are supposed to ring out. So, we're beginning with whole note. So, a whole note, as it says here, gets 4 quarter notes in length. I do want to point out we are going to do a lot of stuff in a 4/4 time signature. A 4/4 time signature basically means you have 4 notes that fill up the bar. That's what the top number means. The bottom number tells you that a quarter note equals 1 beat. You can clearly see that here because these are all quarter notes and there are 4 of them filling up the bar. So a 4/4 time signature again means you have 4 quarter notes fill up the bar and 1 quarter note equals 1 beat. You can have the top number be anything. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 8,000. That would be a ridiculous time signature, but technically you could. So the top number can be anything because that tells the reader this is how many beats fill up the bar. The bottom number tells you what equals 1 beat. So you can have a 1 for whole note, 2 for half note, 4 for quarter note, 8 for eighth note, 16 for 16th note. So that's just a brief, quick explanation of it. So again, we have 4 quarter notes filling up the bar. A whole note here lasts 4 quarter notes long. So in this case, it's going to fill up the entire bar. It's going to last 4 beats in length. So we got 4 chords, so 4 whole notes happening. Then we're going to switch to half note. So the half note basically takes this open circle, which represents a whole note, and we put this stick on it. That vertical stick is called a stem. So when we add the stem to a whole note, it becomes a half note. So now the half note lasts 2 beats long, or 2 quarter notes in length. So we got 2 half notes filling up all those bars. And now when we take the half note and fill in the circle, so now it's a solid black dot, and it doesn't matter that the stem is pointing down or pointing up. The notation software will have the stem go down or up depending on where the notes are in the staff in order to conserve space. So it doesn't matter if it's pointing up or down. the value is not altered at all. As you see here, the stem's pointing down for that quarter note. This quarter note, it's pointing up. Again, doesn't change the value of how long the note lasts at all. So yes, quarter note equals 1 full beat in our 4/4 time signature. So we see here, we're just strumming 4 times each bar. And then here, we have a quarter note, and then a new symbol, a dotted half note. When you dot something, you extend the length of what is dotted by half. So, half of a half note is 1 quarter note long, right? Because a half note equals 2 quarter notes in length. Half of that would be 1. So, half note lasts 3 beats, or in this case, 3 quarter notes long. So here with this line, we have a quarter note followed by a dotted half. And then here, we do the dotted half first, then the quarter note. And then when we get to this chord here, I put it in as a whole note just to fill up the bar real quick. When you're practicing, you do not need to let that last chord ring out all 4 beats. So you can just move on to the next speed. So this is what we're going to do for practice. So because you just got the one thing here, you might want to just think about like going maybe 15 minutes max of trying to get this as fast as you can. So here's the thing. Got to do a lot of metronome stuff. We're always practicing with that metronome. We're going to start at 60 beats per minute. And even though it may seem very slow and it might feel difficult to stay on the beat, well, that's one reason why we do it. So things to keep in mind. You want to think about coming in a split second after the beat. If you try and anticipate the beat, you usually end up playing early. So think about coming in like a split second after the click. You do not need to have this set as a 4/4 time signature. I always just have it set as a 1/4 because I just want the same sound over and over and over and over again. And I just count along with it. But if you want to set your metronome to a 4/4 time signature, that's fine. A lot of people prefer having it set that way because they feel more confident hearing the different sound for beat number 1 as the metronome cycles through the 4/4 time signature. So I'm going to demonstrate all this stuff at different speeds. And so what I want you to do, you start at 60. You need to play this well enough that you would be proud to show somebody else. It needs to be played well enough that you would be happy to have it on your album. It's a good recording take, okay? Once you can do it that well, then you go up 5 beats per minute, play it again. And it's got to be perfect in the way I just described. You got to be playing it well enough that it's going to be on an album. And then every time you play this entire thing correctly once, you go up 5. Play it correctly once, go up 5. And that's how you're going to do this each day you practice. Always start at 60. Always go up in 5 beat per minute increments every time you do this correct. So I'm going to attach an ebook in this email on how I use the metronome and how I have all the students use the metronome to get faster, faster, faster. Most of it is applicable to what we are doing. Some stuff not quite, because we're not going for like pure speed right now. But the gist of it is there. Start at 60, play the thing correctly once, go up 5. Play it correctly once, go up 5. And just keep going faster, 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 faster. So after like 10 to 15 minutes, you want to start thinking about getting one more good take and calling it a day. So when you reach a point, let's say maybe not even 15 minutes. If you reach a point after the 12-minute mark, and it's taking you several tries to get this correct, like 2 or 3 minutes of really struggling to nail it, once you get it correct, call it a day. So there is no speed goal for any of this. It's accuracy. Accuracy is the most important thing. Accuracy is what we want. So, with that being said, I'm going to play at some different speeds here, and you can use this video, follow along when you reach these speeds. So, great idea. Definitely keep following along at the 60 beats per minute with me until you get it right. I will be sending over the Guitar Pro file as well, so if you do have Guitar Pro, great thing to practice along with. If you don't have Guitar Pro, highly recommended to get it, because man, it makes practicing and learning things so much easier. So much easier. So, I want you to count 1, 2, 3, 4 the entire time. So this way you're getting used to how long all these things last. And then after I demonstrate everything, I will tell you what I would like you to do in your video that you're going to send over before 12 noon next Thursday. Here we go. 60 beats per minute. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. Done. It's also important you tap your foot along with your metronome, so you're really locking into that beat. And notice, like, when I'm playing these chords, make sure that they ring out the full length. A lot of times people will move their hand early instead of letting it ring out the entire time. So you're always doing a downstroke when you change chords. So make sure that your left hand or your fret hand, you might be a left-handed player, I don't know. So when you go to strum down, when the chord change is supposed to happen, you need to change chords as that downstroke happens. See, they're both lining up. I missed the strings. So that's what we want to do. So they both need to move at the same time, okay? We don't want the left hand arriving early. All right, I'm going to 120 next. A 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. Done. 160. 1, 2. A 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. The faster you go, the harder it is to keep counting. So if you need to take little breaks and just breathe in while doing the counting, that's okay. All right, one more speed, 200. 1, 2, 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4, 1. What the heck was was that? That was the wrong chord. Take two. 1, 2, a 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, All right. So what I would like you to do, let's say like probably the Wednesday, so a week from today, the practice session that you do, record the whole thing, and just send that over. Yeah, just record the whole thing, send that over. I'm just gonna see how it looks in the beginning, and I gotta check the middle, check the end, just make sure everything sounds good. So. I'll watch as much as I need to just to make sure I get a good idea of your understanding of the material, your performance of the material, and all that stuff. So, again, like the last practice session you do, I'd imagine it would be Wednesday. Just record the whole thing, send that over, and I'll check that out. So that'll be the idea each week. Just send over the last practice session, and see where you get to. All right. I hope all that makes sense. If you have any questions, please let me know. I will see you next week in your video.